Alright. What's going on, good people? Happy Sunday. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Still going on the weekend, still Sunday in most places. And yeah, this video is going to be about you. Well, not you guys, but you stock Unity. And I'm going to talk about everything. I'll try to at least. We don't want this video to be too long, but usually it is too long, more than I want the videos to be. And it's been a while since I made one, right? As I promised you guys on X. For anyone who doesn't know, guys, I'm mostly on X, which formerly known as Twitter. I'll put my profile below if you guys want to check it out. And obviously, that's after the Discord, which I'm at every day in the flow trading Discord community. That's where I'm at 90% of the time throughout the trading week. But yeah, Unity software is, I'm going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, everything that I think and believe and watch, from technicals to obviously options flows, right, and dark pools, because I mean flow trading, come on. And yeah, and everything, fundamentals, some of the recent development that we've had this year. And I'll start with saying that first of all, I'm long shares, and I have also call options in Unity, in U stock. So yeah, I'm obviously bullish long term, and I'm here for the ride. So first of all, quick disclaimer here, right? Flow trading, myself, we're not financial advisors. Nothing I say or talk about here is financial advice or any type of tax advice or any advice. Everyone trades for themselves. Everyone invests for themselves. Markets carry a lot of risks, and obviously I'm here for educational purposes, entertainment, if you find it entertaining, and that's it. Now let's begin, guys. So first of all, let's bring back the lines that I had here and go to just regular candles here. Now I'll also switch to log because, I mean, come on, right? Like huge percentage move, so it makes sense. I like to watch regular all the time just to watch, right? To kind of dissect the chart. But when we're talking about macro charts and huge percentages of the move, whether upside or downside, anyways, we want to go with, I want to go at least with log. You guys can do whatever you want, both work, especially for different types of ways to analyze a stock, right? For me, the way that I look at it, we look at it is like this. Okay, so technically speaking, macro first. 2021, obviously, we had the huge growth cycle in the markets, right? We saw a lot of squeezes across the board. Everything looked positive. Then in 2022, a very necessary, I don't know if I like to call it a bear market, but you know, I like to call it the growth bubble pop, right? So basically, growth stocks got bamboozled, and many of them later on became huge plays, but a lot of them really crushed big time in 2022, especially more than Nasdaq and everything else, right? More than, again, commodities, obviously energy and oil, which actually went much higher. So the point is that in 2022, we actually saw a huge downtrend in the market. So did it benefit the Unity? Obviously not, right? It wasn't great. Now, I will say that, first of all, technically speaking, again, huge volume candle that we had here, kind of a selling climax looked like in May of 2022. So I had a red channel drawn from here, right? Which is kind of the dead cat bounce that we had after in summer, August of 2022. And that's it. We never closed above this simple red channel. You gotta really simplify it when it comes to technicals. And I don't trade this stock short term, right? I might sometimes hedge against my position, but I don't trade it short term. I trade other. I just like it and I follow it a lot and daily, and we want to update about it and find new things and flows. But yeah, I'm not staring at candles all day. That's what I mean. So the weekly chart here is, as I've said, this is just a channel that's pretty interesting to me because we never close the weekly above this channel. So once and if and when we do, you kind of flip a strong trend that actually began at a local top here from summer of 2022. So now we're almost 3 years after, right? So this is obviously something you want to watch. The green channel is what I like to call the buy the effing dip channel, which, needless to say, you understand what this is. And yeah, dark pools levels, you got it 17.9. We'll talk about dark pools a bit after that. And in terms of technicals as well, I like to do here a reverse fib retracement, right? So I'll take the lows of, which was basically the all-time lows, the carry trade Fugazi lows, August 5th of 2024. And let's take it let's take it to this one, the last rejection of the red channel, because this is such a strong trend of downside, and again rejected after a macro channel and trend that we've been following. So it's kind of, I feel like, strong local top and obviously strong local bottom being all-time lows, right? So the reason I'm doing a reverse here is because I want to test a potential uptrend in the making after a pretty clear downtrend, right? So what we see here, now I'll switch to daily just so we can even look a bit, I don't know if I can call it cleaner, but you know what I mean. But yeah, this is a very healthy look of, first of all, the inverse head and shoulders that played out here. We saw a lot of bullish flows here, or options activity, right? And many things that kind of added up with the cycle of the market. Again, it played out nice, and kind of the same thing that we actually saw here as well. From there, it was kind of more focused in the last sell-off in overall markets, which this is also another one that many people, including myself, were still kind of pretty bullish markets. But then we started seeing unusually crazy bearish activity across the board on indices and risk assets that kind of gave us a lot of red flags. So we had a lot of fun in February, March, and April from this downside, kind of prepared for it. Still bled a lot, obviously, overall, because it's not like you sell everything you have and you buy puts on the market or short the S&P, right? But, you know, something that we kind of looked that could happen. Again, not the way it happened on overall markets, but again, once again, I'm talking about it because it's very relevant always to look at the overall market when we analyze, even if it's an individual stock, right? So that's that. Okay. Back then we dropped in the tariff sell-off all the way to even to $15. So great job anyone who bought it, right? But now we're back to 25 already. You flipped golden pocket of this downtrend that I just showed you, which is the reverse fib retracement, right? From the all-time lows, as I said, to the highs of December 2023. And you flipped golden pocket. Again, kind of a nice liquidity test here. Sold off, but recovered pretty nicely. Kind of gave you another, you know, inverse head and shoulders look, which, to be fair, a lot of stocks look like it. But then lately, especially in the past week or 2 weeks, lately we've seen an IV spike, and we saw a lot of options activity that's unusual, that obviously I will talk about here as well. So these are the levels to watch short term, I would say. Weekly, daily, whatever you want, kind of 24.6, 21.5 golden ratio, and then obviously 28. For me personally, just to close this chapter of technicals between watching these channels, my price target is up. Simple. I don't care short term. I like the stock. I'm bullish. As I've said, I'm long. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm very patient, as I am usually with potential deep value plays. And that's what it is for me, right? I've been watching it ever since November. Well, I've been watching the stock since 2021, when a bit after IPO. But even before that, I've known the company. And November of 2022 is actually when I was super interested because of their merger with Iron Source. All right. And I think their timing was great, because November 2022 was kind of close to the market, overall stock market bottom. So it was a great timing, but it went really bad, in my opinion. The merger with Iron Source. So, you know, that's one of the negatives that the new CEO is trying to fix, and the thing that we want to look for, obviously, from here. All right. So, yeah, that's enough about the technicals. Once you break this range, obviously, we're talking about a potential new uptrend that confirms, and technically speaking, this could be a massive squeeze eventually. And again, once again, there's a reason I personally went into options, call options. I won't hold options if I don't think an IV expansion is coming, which means an, you know, IV spike, or even kind of a strong potential trend longer term. But that's what we want to watch in terms of momentum right now, because you're clearly rejected from this red channel. So again, we want to watch it and be obviously patient. Next report going to be on August, okay? An earnings report. Now, into the options flow side of things. So here's the thing. All right, guys. We obviously saw a lot of $30 January 16, 2026 options activity lately. Now, if you look at the 2-day, and again, guys, this is going to be unusual wells. Once again, that's usually what we do in flow trading. We analyze and dissect options flows across the board, obviously, on a lot of stocks and sectors. Been doing it for many years to find sector rotations, market cycles, and try to read markets, which I truly believe that this is, I don't want to say the only, because there are so many different ways to approach markets, but again, eventually these markets are options driven more than ever. So options become like a product by itself, just like a stock nowadays, with the volume and liquidity across the board from retail and institutions. And that's why I always say you gotta follow the flow. So that's obviously what we do in the Discord. Now, what I want you to see on Unity is this. You can see and watch. I know that on X people kind of follow it and update about it every day, and I get it, right? Like I don't mind doing it as well if you guys want, but to me it kind of also loses a bit for me personally, again, right? Because for me it's a deep value long-term play. Then it kind of, I mean, okay, cool. So someone's opening a position, but what about my position? That's what I care about. So again, this is now very relevant. So this is why now you do want to watch it. But it wasn't this relevant a bit ago, like again, a few months ago. So now if you look at the 7-day contract of the 30 calls for January 2026, you're going to see a lot of volume here, which is openers, right? May 30th, 30,000 volume, 21,000 of them new open interest. Again, a lot of volume switched hands here and contracts being traded because this stock is gaining a lot of traction and it's becoming very volatile from retail as well. A lot of people like to trade it. A lot of people like to speculate about it with low DTE options. So it just makes everything more volatile. So by nature, even the bit longer dated options like January will see more volume once a big block comes in. So if you look at it like this, 7 days, it looks like they lose money, right? Even though they potentially closed, but maybe even opened once again. Again, I don't care about speculating about this smaller money. I care about the bigger ones. And this Roaring Kitty, well, I mean, this trader, sorry. Well, I mean, let me just show, by the way, why I'm saying Roaring Kitty. There's a lot of people that been talking about it online. And I was asked about it as well on X, and I've said a million times, personally, much respect and love to Roaring Kitty. I personally think that it's a very, again, I've said it, like it just makes sense. Why not? He's a deep value investor. He's seen the deep value there. He posted this GIF of Unity. He posted another video of, you guys know, like pizzeria with the U letter dropping down. Anyways, to me, it's funny to look at it all and speculate about maybe it's Roaring Kitty, but I couldn't care less personally. Again, I love the guy, much respect to him, wish him the best, but we want to focus on what we know. So speculations are fun, but at the end of the day, we want to take care of our own portfolios, right? So yeah, do I think it's him? Probably, yeah. I do think it's him, the buyer here, and he knows what he's doing, and I'll explain why in a second. But I also think that everyone needs to have fun with it, but that's it, like just have fun, not getting glued to the screen every day and think about, does he still hold, or maybe he sold, or maybe this or that, because it just means that you don't have a plan of your own. So have a plan, that's it. Back to the flows. So he bought here basically to open, meaning again, open interest went up the day after. If you look 7 days, it looks like maybe he lost a little bit, but again, who cares? Zoom out a little bit, even just 14 days, and you're already going to see more volume that entered here towards end of May 28th. 48,000, right? And look at this. Now open interest went up by 41,000. So now we're talking about a bit bigger money, right? Like $18 million traded on May 28th alone, on this contract alone. And these are all openers, right? So who cares about 3,000 here or there? This is the big money, and they're still green. Now, if you zoom out again, 30-day contract, look what happened here. The May 16, which we talked about as well, because this was pretty unusual. A block in volume that basically is higher than open interest, right? What does it mean, guys? It means that the volume being traded on this contract could be buyers, could be sellers, could be option spreads, could be condors, vertical spreads, calendar spreads, could be just a single call buyer, call seller. It could be many things. But again, to simplify, the overall volume contract switched hands this many times, right? On these 30 calls for January 2026. That's the volume, just like stock has volume, buy and sell is volume. Same here with the call option. So again, almost 11,000 volume back for May 16 and over 9,000 new open interest, meaning the position was opened, the big one here. And again, they're still holding. And this was when the contract was much cheaper. So that's what matters if you want to track this, obviously, this specific trader. All right, you also look at the 90-day contract of this chart. This is looking like, right? Like it looks pretty good. We're talking about a potential gamma squeeze here, especially if this dude still holds it and he knows what he's doing. And once again, I'm going to show you in a second. I think I have it here. Yeah, okay, so I have it here. So here it is, right? This is, well, this is just, I wanted to show quick the June 13 and June 20, just the next few Fridays, just to show you how much, again, I don't care about this because it's very low DTE personally, but there's a lot of liquidity. So there is volume. People like to trade it, and you can absolutely trade it short term or hedge against your position or do whatever you want. But there's a lot of volume overall, okay? Which creates liquidity, which means the stock going to get and be more volatile overall, which is not bad. I used to not be a huge fan of the stock being heavily traded and too much in the news and too many people talk about it. But I guess it is what it is, right? Just more people talk about it in the past few months, and because it's more popular, so that's just how it is, right? Some more people want to trade it, more people want to just talk about it a lot because it's brings engagement, right? And some people do legit work and update good flow posts, good fundamentals posts online. So obviously there's a lot of different information out there on X and Reddit and YouTube. But my overall point here is that it's going to lead to more volume on all low DTE options. So I just want people to be smart. And again, you can absolutely trade it. Don't get me wrong. I know people who trade it well, and I wish them the best, right? My ex-friends, right, and my Discord friends that I know do a great job. But a lot of people, like more than 90-something% of retail, is seeing a lot of stuff online and they don't understand much of it. So they're just piling into illiquid options. And even if they're liquid, they're going to lose money. So be smart, don't be the gen, and again, understand that it's very volatile. So don't look for people to blame if your options go to zero, just down by a lot. Now, this is just, again, 13 and June 13 and June 20th, which is the next monthly OPEX. This is the next Friday weekly, but white here means monthly options expiration. Now, here we go, guys. Here we go. Back to the Roaring Kitty. This trader, 30 calls, right, for Jan 2026. So this is here, just all the expirations. And you can see here, Jan 2026, so this is going to show plus 3,357 open interest because that's the OI change, right? Open interest change. It's just a script that I have on Thinkorswim that it shows plus or minus open interest on every options chain. And yeah, you can see here 83,000, right? Open interest still there. He's sitting there. It's not a lot of time. I mean, it is solid time. It's buying all the way to Jan 2026. Well, actually, so you can see it here. I'm actually in 2027, and I have a bit more in a different brokerage. But anyways, this is enough time for this trader to hold a $30 call, which is over the money, but a 0.51 delta, which again, once it's above 0.50, it gets much more interesting. It starts moving more like the stock. Market makers could get more aggressive in hedging it, especially if Unity keeps holding support levels. Hedging it meaning, guys, buying stock, like actually buying Unity stock, right, in open market eventually to stay hedged on their books. So that's how gamma squeeze happens, right? And then gamma can actually, turn delta into. That's just how it is. We've seen it with many stocks before. And it could absolutely happen. And let me show a few examples on the chart. Again, not comparing too much, but again, because there are some similarities here. For example, if we let's go weekly again, because I don't care daily much. But obviously GME being the most famous one, right? So basically what happened back in 2021, this started a lot before it. this was when it wasn't too interested. It wasn't too interesting, sorry. Roaring Kitty definitely talked about it for a long time, but not many did. A lot of people till today talk about it every day, like literally that's all they talk about after it already squeezed, and that drives me crazy. Because it's people that probably they don't make money from trading or from investing, so they go for engagement on what brings them the most amount of followers, or maybe they build their followers based on it. Again, you know, at the end of the day, this is where you want it to be in GME, right? And I'm saying it as someone who's long GME again, because again, I just play the pump, selling calls against it, option spreads, but again, that's a different story. The point is, this is a deep value play that went ballistic because no one expected this to happen, no one, right? But it actually was a gamma squeeze. Yeah, it was a short squeeze. A lot of shorts got squeezed because look at the crazy move, but it was a gamma squeeze. That's what actually happened, right? Look at this. Look at the regular chart. Like, come on now, right? So what happened here was a lot of call activity that picked up, and market makers had to buy shares to hedge it, and eventually it caused a gamma squeeze in the underlying stock, which was very famous in 2021. Everyone knows about GME. And yeah, just a bit more example on what I'm looking at. Whoever this is, and I'm going to show some other flows in a second as well, but this dude, as I've said, they're still holding January 2026. So yes, it is interesting. I'll show you in a second why other trades are more interesting to me. But this is still kind of resembling of names like, you look at Robinhood, right? And it dropped big time. And many of you guys know how bullish I was on, and still am, right? On Robinhood, on Hoodstock. And I'm still very long this. But it dropped a lot, kind of accumulative zone, which we saw a lot of unusual things. But at the end of the day, you got to see, better earnings, and you want to see higher lows, and everything happened. So obviously now Hood squeezed by a lot. Palantir, right? Another name that I really liked. I sold in like 90-something% of my position already, way early, you could say, right? It went up much higher after, but again, great job for anyone who's still in Palantir. But we've seen the same thing, right? We've seen massive accumulation around $6 and $7, $8 back in 2023. So this is kind of the moves that eventually, when everything adds up, which is the end of the day the company, because it's all up to the company. Still going to move if the company improves, and then the chart gives you, nice liquidity. After it tested some support level, it holds it. Bullish flows keep on entering, or at least holding from, weeks and months and years from before, and obviously more interest overall. Okay, and when it comes to flows, the good things that happened, and the reason I'm talking about Hood and Palantir as an example, is a lot of retail liked it a lot, and still do, and they still like those stocks a lot. But the reason it actually succeeded was because smart money started to enter as well, right? So I'm talking at the money positions and call options. I'm talking about risk reversals, right? Some diagonals, or even Canada spreads with some wild differences between expiries. Anyways, options activity that are very bullish. So we liked it. We liked what we saw. We liked the build up, and it kept on going up and up and up, and it was glorious. So obviously, at the end of the day, that's what I believe definitely could happen with Unity stock. And a bit more flow to talk about here, besides obviously the 30 calls, which we talked about enough, is what I did post on X, which, by the way, guys, this is my this is Orlando. This is my X, formerly known as Twitter. And yeah, so this one, what I talked about, right? The short vol trade that was opened on June 4th. So let's look at it. For example, two flow traders just opened, strangled for setting both calls in. Okay, so you see what I'm saying? Like IV was pretty high, which, by the way, brilliant. IV now is much lower. I'm pretty sure like half of it is. So even IVP, which is implied vol percentile, is solid right now. So yeah, IV popped. Anyone who had calls saw it, right? Like anyone who bought calls when it wasn't popular to buy calls, the spike that we've had in the past few weeks really was beneficial for call options. So this was a good move as well. So for example, I had to close a lot of calls because, I mean, come on, it just IV spiked, even though I had a lot of time, right? So Yeah, that's that. Now, what did we want to talk about? Oh, yeah, okay. Right. So they shorted vol June 4th. So let's see here. And again, that's the difference, guys, between understanding smart money and big money. A lot of big trades are going to be arbitrage, are going to be just hedging against underlying stock position, right? Most of big options trades out there, they're not all the gents like we like to be many times, right? They're not just trading direction or hedging with simple strategies like whale strategies, selling calls, selling puts, or vertical spreads. But there's a lot behind the scene, very complex strategies from a lot of it, by the way, is algos, right? Because the market's pretty algo driven. But anyways, that's the point. That's what I want to say. Is I wanted to talk quick about this and why I really like this one, the floor trading, and I posted it. Timing, the fact that they sold. Okay, so here's what this is, right? A strangle, let's say a long strangle, is buying calls and buying puts at the same time and for the same expiry, right? That's basically going long volatility. Why would someone buy calls, buy puts? Because they want either a huge move up or a huge move down. They're gonna lose on one of the most likely, right? Unless something crazy happens, then they benefit both sides. But usually, if someone opens a strangle, a long strangle, not this, a long strangle, it's because again they just expect a huge move. So think about it. If they open $1,000, let's just say right on $35,000 on 27, and it pops big time, more than doubles to the upside, the call options, they already made money. So they lost on puts, but they made more money on calls. Make sense? So again, it's just a bet on volatility and stay hedged by buying the other side. Now this one is a short strangle. So what they did, the floor trader, right? Again, that's from Unusual Whales, guys. What they did is to sell the $35 calls and sell the $27 puts. All right, so basically selling volatility. They're going short volatility, short vol, because they believe vol is too expanded, right? After a vol expansion, they want a mean reversion. They want IV to revert to the mean. Okay, so yeah, that's about that. And again, it played out beautifully because from June 4th when they opened it, and obviously, guys, quick just to show you, see, you can say that they open it because you look at open interest the day after, and they're still holding it, right? That's the puts and that's the calls, same thing. They're still holding this position, as obviously went up a day after, all right? So yes, June 4th is here, basically at the highs, at the local top, right at the local top on Wednesday, June 4th. All right, guys, so that's that. And again, the smart thing about this specific short strangle is that they're actually slightly bullish, which means stock can still grind higher and go up nicely and they'll make money, but that's for another time. Because again, think they're shorting 35s, 27s, they're good in this range between 27, between 27 to 35, they're good. All right, so again, there are a lot of other trades. I don't have too much time to talk about it. Again, I stream almost an hour every day on the Discord anyway and break down a lot of stuff. So just wanted to bring you guys more into the sides of the options flows, and then just quick to dark pools. April 7th was the most interesting timely dark pools blocks that we saw at the 17.06 and 17.09 levels. 12 million, 16 million, so decent size, right? And that's both on April 7th. And if you look at the time difference, it's most likely the same player. Not like in terms of the trade codes and everything, it just looks the same, right? So this happened on April 7th, obviously a level that you can add to your charts, as I add here. And by the way, April 7th, watch something funny, but it's literally the bottom on Unity stock. April 7th, right with the tariff, Fugazi, everything that happened, right? So interesting to see huge dark pools entering right at the bottom, right? Like, is this someone smart, someone who knew, someone who just had luck and timed bottom? Like, right? Like, we enjoy when we laugh and we say, okay, we timed bottom, that's cool. We timed bottom here as well on that's cool. I didn't here, again, I timed enough times, I'm long enough, but this dude's, it's a bit different because they're actually getting filled in the dark pool. So alternate stock exchange, right? So that's obviously unusual by itself. And that's it. If we go back to now, nothing. Like kind of small money. He got $4 million, $6 million, $4 million, $3 million. So that's really not much. I mean, there are pretty sure there are retail investors out there put these trades. Not that it's too small, but it's not big. Just to okay. So again, this is why what makes this a pretty interesting level, obviously. And that's why the dark pools have been silent lately, which is not bad. Again, now liquidity, now it's up to testing support levels. All right, so that's some options flows and some dark pools. Cross trades, guys. Again, most of the time it's a matched buy and sell order from two market participants. Could be even the same brokerage or same participant. Actually, that just flips two sides. So many of those are actually relevant. I know I've heard some people say that it's not relevant at all. Bullshit. Like it's relevant. You just need to know when and how to read them, and obviously you want them to be relevant positions, meaning opening or closing based on open interest. But some of these cross trades could be very relevant. But again, let's move on now. Okay. Now, what we saw right now is that there's potential retail, but also institutional activity picking up. That's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Again, I used to say, as I've said, that I don't like the noise. I like to find plays before they're popular. But at this point, I'll embrace it. I actually love seeing only some people bring value to this stock, which I always appreciate and support, and that's always good. And there's always going to be the players that want to do, talk about it for the bad reasons. So just be smart, okay? Now, here's the thing, guys. This video is way too long. I feel like it's going to be hours. So we're going to talk about some good, bad, and ugly now. And let's go to maybe fundamentals, the company. I'll do it quick because, again, the last video I made was literally before the earnings in February, and we just saw what I wanted to see in terms of margins, which I still don't think they're great at all. But again, that's the whole point about a recovery story. But we've seen what I wanted to see in this video. You guys, again, can check it. I made it a day or two before in February 2025. My last video about Unity, basically, and one of my last public ones, actually. And Unity is basically, for those who don't know, by the way, it's the largest platform for creators, okay, of any game. So Unity is behind most mobile games you've probably ever played, and it now wants to become the backbone of real-time 3D and beyond just gaming, which was only what they're focused on, right? You can see how they're getting into multiple industries. They had the BMW, now news, they had the Toyota, right? When was it? A lot of interesting segments and kind of industries that they can go into. All right, and again, when they go beyond just gaming, I don't know, film, automotive, simulation, obviously AI, obviously VR and AR, which is a huge market, right? Virtual reality and augmented reality, and obviously overall the digital world. What you want for all of this to succeed, besides just hearing some cool news, is a few things, right? One of them, you want to see improved earnings, improved margins, right? You want to see vector, which is kind of the key in my opinion, right? Their vector is it's AI driven, but it's an ad platform that basically designed to move the company beyond everything I just talked about, right? So beyond just gaming, but actually target high margin enterprise deals, right? And again, we saw the CTO, Steve Collins, just stepping down, right? Now, here's the thing. I've told you guys before, I have a few, I know some people. I have a good friend actually that used to work. He's no longer working there, but okay. But a good friend also that works there in Unity. Some from Iron Source that know Unity from inside. I'll be honest, again, the environment there has been not so great in the past few years. It hasn't been great at all. So for me, when I see a CTO stepping down, it's not a good thing. Don't get me wrong. It's not a good thing, but it could be a good thing. It really could be. Because at the end of the day, think about it like this. they have a family, they have their own life. If you were the CTO right now of a company that's struggling, maybe you wanted to find a new adventure. Again, we can speculate about how, but it goes back to what I've talked about all the time. Speculations are one thing. Let's focus on what we know and the data, okay? So the only thing I could speculate here is to say, okay, who is the next CTO? That's what I want to know. Are they more interesting maybe? And I like it. I like the idea of a new CTO. Look at our new CEO, right? The new CEO is, I mean, I like what he's been talking about. I like his approach a lot. Right? So at the end of the day, that's kind of what I look for. This is not too bad. I'll say it's bad again. Like the good is all the everything I've just talked about, right? They're being in a huge market. They're being a huge part of the industry, which you can. Some people say, okay, AppLovin, right? Their competition is so huge, and the stock has gone ballistic, and it's bad for Unity. Well, I disagree. I don't think it's bad. If anything, it shows the potential of the industry, right? Unity needs to eventually, obviously, deliver, right? But again, that's what I'm betting on. And that's what, at the end of the day, the CEO, which I really like, the new one, has been talking about, right? He focuses on the right things, in my opinion. Okay, so yeah, CTO, if again, as I've said, if this is kind of the good, all the developments that we see from the company towards new industries and towards I feel like we had one more thing. I'm trying to remember. I don't know. We had the Toyota announcement. We had obviously the BMW, but anyways, never mind. There's a huge push from the CEO to go into a lot of different areas, which I really like seeing. Okay, that's kind of the main point here. So this is the good. We got, again, a lot of positive and interesting news with improved earnings, right? Improved margins, less operating, like everything that we want to see from the past few reports, while the CEO is hungry, is focusing on the right things, right? Which is basically rebuilding the trust with all the developers by just prioritizing them first, okay? All the controversial runtime fee, slashing operating costs by 11%. These are all good things, these positives, okay? But it comes down, in my opinion, personally, to Vector. Vector is going to take some time to actually see translated into earnings reports. So that's why I'm saying, in my opinion, like Vector, let's say Q4 of 2025, in my opinion, going to, if I had to bet, start really seeing the benefits from Vector, and then obviously in 2026. All right, and then the chart's going to probably price it in a bit earlier, but that's just a fugazi because these are all narratives that will keep on tracking. So this was the good, this was the, well, this was the good, this was the bad, but again, as I've said, okay, maybe we want people who wants to be there, so next, who's next? And this is the ugly, because there is ugly, right? Like we gotta be honest. That's the buy and sell insiders from Unity. Non-stop selling from insiders. So I would love to see insiders buying the stock and believing in the stock. Personally, I think it's cool. Is this good? No, it's not good. But insiders sell for many reasons. Many reasons. If you actually look at the actual numbers and shares that most of them still own, it's pretty big. So they just sold because they want some money. Maybe across the board, by the way, tech, huge mega caps, directors and executives have been selling a lot of stocks, which I kind of can't argue with, right? If we're talking kind of in the cycle of the next, I don't know, 3 to 5 years, I definitely can't argue because it feels like something bad is coming overall. But that's maybe for another video. So that's kind of a trend that we've seen with overall market and overall stocks. So to be fair, again, it's not nothing only for Unity, but this is still kind of, I mean, look at this. Red is sells, green is buys. So as I've said before, You're not colorblind. There is no green here. There's just selling, exercising and selling, everything. So yeah, that's that. But also, to be fair, you know, and lately as well. By the way, lately, like in the past month or so, they've been selling the run up on you, which wasn't crazy, but we did have a nice upside on you with some growth and high beta stocks, but they've been selling it. Okay, so that's again just to keep this real. Would be great to see insiders, but insiders buying, but they're selling for many reasons, and insiders only buy for one reason. So if it does happen, and maybe one saint will buy, this could be great. All right, guys. So I feel like that's it. Honestly, there are some more things that I would like to talk about, but again, this video is, my goodness, is too long. So I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know. It wasn't too planned. I feel like threw some things around that I wanted to talk about. It wasn't too organized, but I do hope that it brought you some value and that you enjoyed it. And yeah, as I've said, I like this talk. I like you. Well, not you, but I like you guys as well, but I like you stock. And this is gonna be a fun one, watching all year, analyzing all year. And yeah, as I've said, if you guys wanna follow me on X, I'll put my link below. If you wanna join the Discord community, Flow Trading Discord, we're a different type of community than most out there. I'm just saying it out there, right? We're already an established group of very smart individuals, so we're share trade ideas, investing ideas. We talk about everything openly. Again, we can talk about what we buy and what we sell, what we want to do. We find amazing ideas together and analyze markets. But again, we're not buy or sell signals. So if you want someone to tell you what exactly to buy and when and what exactly to sell, specific stock or contract, don't join. It's not for you. I'll be honest, right? We want people who actually think, and that's why we have high quality community as of now. And again, we usually close access, but if the website is open, you can just check. Currently, as I speak, we're open. And yeah, that's it, guys. Anyone who did join us in the past few days, welcome aboard. Much fun. Fun times ahead, guys. Fun times ahead. And I think that's it. If I remember anything that I wanted to talk about, I'll make another 1 hour video. No, I'm kidding. But I'll try to maybe throw something on X, or, you know, maybe talk about it in a future upcoming video. And that's it. I'll divide the video to chapters as well, so you can watch the specific chapters and relevant things. And if you want to go back and watch again, you can do that. Much love. I appreciate anyone who still stayed and stuck with me till the end here. I hope you guys have a great week out there. And I'll see you all in the next one. Much love. Peace out. This is the way.